Okay, so this is another truck we've been working on lately. This is my grandpa's new wood truck. This is a 19... He keeps saying it's a 1985, but I think it's a 1984. Let me just check before I tell you guys. Okay, so it's a 1985. This is a project, clearly, at least on the inside. So this is a 1985 F-250 with a 6.9 diesel. Now factory, you might notice something a little weird on the right hand side there. So factory, these did not come with a turbo. This is a complete aftermarket turbo kit that somebody did themselves. And works perfectly fine. It's got an exhaust temperature gauge, boost gauge. I mean, they kind of jerry-rigged it to get it in here as far as the hoses go. But we're working on it. So the issue I want to go over today is I did order a return line kit, new injectors, new glow plugs. We're going to be putting a push button glow plug system in here, and we have a push button ignition just because the on this steering column there's a little sensor that goes right here. When the arm turns and you engage the key, it engages little plates in here that read different levels. This isn't the wire plug, but it engages, so you can see it on here. This is the bottom of it. So as the plate slides, it engages different solenoids that are connected to these wires, and gives power to your radio. Could give power to your fuel pump, the starter, and so on as you go through the clicks, obviously. So that had gone bad or loose, and they didn't realize it. So they jerry-rigged the ignition, the glow plugs. They couldn't figure out why their fuel tank switch for the front and rear wasn't working. So they went ahead and bypassed the fuel selector valve. So a complete mess for one simple issue. And you guys wouldn't believe it, but this truck sat for 4 years, and we get a lot of pack rats out here where we're located. So from the bottom of the engine block to the top of the engine was nothing but cactus needles, cedar branches. You couldn't even tell what engine this was, because the window at the junkyard said it was a 7.3. They had it written on there, but all you could see was the top of the turbo. So you knew it was a turbo diesel, but you didn't know what size engine it was. So it wasn't until we got it all cleared off, all the pack rat. I mean, you can still see the piss down inside of there. That's not rust, that is pack rat piss. And it's getting easier now because all the cactus needles have ended up in my hand. But it's hard to work in here without getting the little tiny red cactus needles all over between your fingers, all over your hands, your shirt. It's ridiculous. But the video today on this, until I get all the parts for the injector system, is going to be if you're having a problem starting the 6.9 diesel, and you've checked all your lines, you're getting fuel, you've replaced the fuel pump, you still can't figure out why it's not cranking over, why you're not getting enough pressure in the fuel lines to fire the engine. So a little trick before you go and tear everything apart: pull all the belts off. I left the power steering belt on, but because that doesn't really affect anything. But go ahead and pull all your belts. There's a smog pump down here, your alternator, your AC compressor, and there might be another smog pump somewhere on here. But the issue these trucks run into every once in a while, and it might also work for any other diesel engine, is that the smog pump that's located right over here, or the AC condenser, or the clutch in here, might seize. So when that seizes, you're not getting enough pull through the entire system. The engine's not pulling enough as you're starting the truck to put enough fuel pressure. I know the fuel pump doesn't go off of the belts, but you're not getting enough turnover inside of the engine to put pressure, the pressure that is needed to fire the truck and fill the fuel lines. So that's the problem we were having on this truck, is we were getting fuel pressure, but it wasn't strong. We checked the selector valve. We went ahead and bought a new fuel pump. We pulled all the lines, kept checking to make sure. We kept bleeding everything. Just could not figure it out. And it wasn't until we pulled the belt off, and I went ahead and threw the smog pump away because we don't need the smog up here. And until I check this, we're just going to leave this disconnected too. So we're just going to hook the alternator and the steering pump back up when this is running. But once we took that belt off, I'm not even kidding, within the first crank, few seconds of cranking, the engine had fired over completely. So it's just a good idea, before you tear into everything, start buying new injectors, new fuel pump, new selector valve, checking for leaks, spending all kinds of money. Just take the belt off, crank the motor over, test your fuel pressure, and see if the truck will fire, because it really saved us a lot of time. I have leaking injectors and a return line, so I had to do that stuff anyways. Yeah, it's a good thing to check into and might save you a lot of time and money. So I will be posting videos here in the future on the 85 6.9 turbo diesel, aftermarket turbo diesel, to be showing you guys how to install the return line, new injectors, new O-rings, new glow plugs, and as soon as we figure out exactly how to install the push button glow system, we'll go ahead and do a video on that. So until then, we will see you guys later.